In today's video, I am going to be breaking down different basketball plays that will confuse your defenders on the other team. So these are all STS basketball plays. So if you're looking for something that is maybe just a bit more confusing and maybe a bit more complicated than your average play, then these are definitely the plays for you. So let's get down. Let's check these out really quickly. If you want a killer defense that will probably not be confused by plays like these, make sure to go check out the Unbeatable Basketball Zone defense book that is down in the description below. Okay, so basically what an STS play is a screen the screener basketball play, which basically means if we're running an STS, a very basic one would be if player 5 set a screen for player 2, who then set a screen for player 1. So this would be a screen here. The idea is we would then have a potential switch early on. Player 5 will then roll. Player 4 lifts, 3 lifts, 5 clears out. This just moves everyone out of the way, so that now we would have player 2 set that screen here. If they were to switch again, now we have a mismatch on two different sides. We have a potential mismatch with player 2 and 1, and we'll have a definite mismatch between 1 and 5, 1 being faster and could potentially probably beat player 5 off the dribble to the basket. So that's a very basic STS play in a 5-out offense. And of course, you can get the 5-out complete guide down in the description below. But that is just a very simple, basic basketball play that you can run that can confuse a lot of different teams. Now, we're going to get into a little bit more interesting and way more complex basketball plays that will definitely confuse your defenders. So we're going to start with player 5 setting a back screen on player 4, who will then go and set a screen on the opposite side for player 2. The idea here is for there to be a mismatch now out on this side of the court, because if they were to switch early, or even if they were not to switch early and player 4 was to fight through, this could potentially be a switch on this side. Player 5 will then clear, and now you can isolate player 2 on this side against somebody who is much slower. That is the whole idea behind these plays when I run them with my team. We want to get mismatches off of the STS. So now player 4 clears, and now player 2 can go ISO on his man. Or we can run a secondary STS where player 5 will set player 1 will set that screen on player 5. Player 1 is not going to roll. He's going to pop, and player 5 is then going to set that screen over here. Especially if they fight through, this can be really, really handy. Or we have player 5 fake using the screen, so there's no switch, just a little bit of confusion. And then player 5 sets a back screen on player 2, and player 2 goes full speed right to the rim off of that screen. Player 5, while if he's a mobile big, this may not work. But if he's a slower, bigger big, then guess what? If he's too big and he's too slow, then he's not going to be able to keep up with a shooting guard who is going to get to that rim and potentially dunk it on him, or at the very least, to make the layup on him. Now, this next play is an absolute pain in the butt to try and defend, especially if you are playing against a man-to-man defense, or if you're playing with a man-to-man defense. This is just an absolute pain in the ASS to try and defend. We're going to start with player 5 and 4 setting a staggered screen for player 3, who is then going to set a screen for player 2. Player 4 and 5 are both going to roll off, and when they do that, player 5 is going to loop back out. He could even cheat, to be honest with you. He could just pop out to here. But either way, he's going to end up on the wing. And then we're going to have player 4 pop out to here. Now, one of these may switch. It is a massive potential that if we were to actually set this up where player 5 actually goes out to set this screen, that player 5 is going to switch, because if they don't and player 3 tries to fight through, this could be just a quick slip, pass, layup. If there's no slip and they switch, for example, now player 5 is going to be chasing player 3 over. Player 4 gets out of the way. Player 5 is out of the way. Now, we're going to be setting a screen for player 2. Player 3 is going to roll off of that screen. Player 2 is then going to set the screen for player 1. And if they switch, it's even better, because if they're switching again, I love when teams switch everything. I just absolutely love it. Player 4 is going to lift. Player 3 is going to clear out of that side. Now we're going to go screen and roll. with player 2 rolling towards the rim. Player 1 can attack the rim. He's got a couple of different options, but either way, it gives the entire side to player 1 and player 2 to be able to score. And if they were to like help off, this would be an extra pass, rotate down, extra pass, rotate down, extra pass, 3. So while I did get more and more complex and more difficult with these plays, they all work at the youth level. Obviously, this last play, you may only want to run at the high school level, but those are still youth. So anyways, I hope that these plays are able to help your team win more games. If they do, hit that like button, subscribe. Make sure to go check out my Unbeatable Basketball Zone Defense book that is down in the description below, but also make sure to go check out my complete guide to the 5-out offense that is down there as well. I'll see you guys again in my next video.